Hey everyone, this is Peter from the Sampleist, and in this video we'll take a look at the Voices of Rage by Soundiron. Soundiron is a premium developer of virtual instruments and sample libraries, and are passionate about building beautiful sounding instrument plugins that are inspiring to play. They have well over 200 products available that range from full choirs and orchestras to musical wine glasses. Voices of Rage is an aggressive vocal library with focus on genres such as death metal, metalcore, hardcore, anything that involves growling or screaming really. I will submit that this is a very effective library to use for scoring on the horror or dark thriller spaces. Hopefully the composition will show that off. This library includes samples from 4 male and 1 female vocalists. Each has phrases, a word builder, and vocal effects. The word builder includes 100 words covering a variety of nouns, pronouns, verbs, and adjectives. Each has sustain and staccato versions in 2 different tones, and a word sequencer that can be used to effectively build custom phrases. The sampled phrases include hundreds of original royalty-free lines, categorized into 9 songs, each with a wide selection of unique improvised variants and reinterpretations, which also includes a sequencer to help string things together. Both include customization of sample start and endpoints, along with 2 mic mixes to play around with. The vocal effects include growling, screaming, ad-libs. The female vocalist Mixie also has melodic vocal sustains of various dynamic levels and syllables. Finally, there is a bonus selection of ambiances and basic synthesizer waveforms that add another dimension of usability to the library. All the instruments include some performance shaping controls such as attack, release, offset, and pitch, as well as access to a modular effects rack with chorus, compression, distortion, amp, and cab simulation, EQ, delay, and reverb. This library is designed for native instruments Contact Player 6.2.2 or later. In total, there are 28,600 stereo samples, and it takes up about 7.4 gigabytes when installed. Voices of Rage retails for $119 US. Thanks to Soundiron for a review copy of Voices of Rage. As usual, while Soundiron provided us a review copy, they did not have any input into the decision-making process or review, and they have not seen this review ahead of time. So without further ado, let's go listen to some screaming and growling.
Fear has left the table, expiring. They sat beside They sat beside. Don't mind the coughing. I'm nothing more in the world. To describe, to open up my coughing. No excuse to fight us. Leech! Leech! Scan! You will let out! The end! Let! The end! Remember it was the end! The end! Remember it was the end! It fills the space. Your love our skin. Lick the hand. That's giving. Only pay the toll. But when I felt to say.
I'm going to interject there really quick. So what you've just heard are a few of the different phrases from the different songs. So we have a few different styles. I went through most of them here. For Aaron in this case are in a death style. We have a couple in a scream style, and then a couple in a spoken style. So this gives you a little bit of a different spin on how you want your creepy, angry, death metal-y vocals to sound, whether you want more of that gruntiness or growliness, whether you want more of that higher pitch sort of screaminess or something a little more ominous in the spoken side. The other thing I did while I was going through that one is I turned the sync on and off. I turned the sync over to natural, actually. So you can change the speed of these phrases to match with your DAW or to be at their natural tempo, or you can play around with the speed a little bit too. So gives you that flexibility. I am going to move over to a word master of a different vocalist. We'll go into Evan, and I will go quiet once again.
Flame! Give! Hatred! Insanity! Grave! Hatred! His! Have!
Okay, I'm going to stop there. I accidentally came across one of the words in here that would flag a content warning on YouTube. So I'm going to apologize for that edit that just happened. Let my finger slip onto the wrong key. But yes, this library does have some more mature language, which hopefully is not a surprise. One of the things I did in there is I swapped between rage and evil mode. So we have this really guttural evil mode and more angry sounding rage mode. You can combine both together, actually. Yeah. And I flipped between the sustain modes and the staccato mode. So that comes in real handy when you're trying to actually feather the phrases together, and you want to hit notes in a certain way. It's really nice to have the staccato versions of these words. So again, we can do some stretching here. We can do a bit of pitch shifting, just some nice basic controls to mold the sound to our liking. Okay, so there are 3 more vocalists who do these phrases and word builders. I'm going to switch over to the female vocalist sustains. So this gives a totally different side of the metal vocal scene. And this is a vocalist called Mixie. Okay, so several articulations, and one of the cool things is they do have, quite a few of these syllables, they'll have two dynamic layers recorded, so we can listen to a piano ah, and a forte ah. All right, so let's then finish off with some of the vocal effects, and then I'll bring up the ambiances as well for just a quick idea of what that looks like.
No! Excuse me. Usually there's a lot of creepy video games, I'll tell you that.
All right, so a lot of really fun content in here that can apply to a lot of different situations, and I feel like is really good fodder for some sound design stuff if you want to mangle how these things sound. One other cool feature about this is as you go across the keyboard, it's giving you different sounds. Let's try long shouts. So if you find one you like, you can click this button up here and it will stretch that sample across the keyboard with C3 being the home key here. So yeah, so a lot of fun to be had with these sound effects, I think. I mean, not just I think, I've been having a lot of fun with these sound effects. Okay, and last thing I wanted to go over were just the ambiances. Right, you'll notice the layering and the crossfading, which exists in both the effects and the ambiances. So let's hear what some of these are like. right, so some nice basic synth sounds to use and some really cool ambiances which go along with the samples in the library. So while giving you a bit of a different spin, it also really complements what's here. And again, you've got these layers, so you can put up to 4 synth layers and you can assign them to an A or B crossfade if you want a subtly varying sound. So as a quick example, I can put, let's say, gradient 1 and 2 on layer A and B. So you can automate that or assign it to the mod wheel or some other MIDI controller and have your sound morph as well. Plus you've got just a couple of little LFO filter arpeggiation options to really drive this thing. That does it for the overview. So next we'll take a listen to the composition. I went for a trailer style track on this one. I was thinking something in the horror thriller genre, maybe like a serial killer or stalker or 3-year-old on the cusp of a tantrum. The track is split into 2 major parts and 2 short bookends. There are 11 instances of Voices of Rage colored in red and pink. Soundiron's Ax Machina in blue and Symphony Series Brass in yellow are used to demonstrate a bit of context, and a drum kit rounds out the sound. No external effects are used on any of these or on the track at all, but I made good use of the included effects rack where needed. Take a deep breath and turn the lights on maybe, and remember to look for Voices of Rage in red and pink. All right, there's a quick idea of what you can do with Voices of Rage. So some closing thoughts. First, I find it's very intuitive and straightforward to use. The word builder has a handy reference for which words are where, and The phrases are consistent between vocalists, so if you find a song that you like, you can switch around the vocalists to get subtle variations on the style. And I really like the variety in both the phrases and in having the rage and evil options in the word builder. It allows you to shape that unsettling sound to be exactly the kind of unsettling that you want it to be. Having the phrases and the word builder as separate options is great because you can throw phrases in for something that's really quick and a little bit less customized, but still with a lot of options to it on the phrases. Or you can go over to the word builder and really be refined about what you're building, be a bit more conscious, a little bit more customized by putting in just that little bit of extra time. And again, flipping between staccato and sustains and evil and rage gives you a fair bit of expression, which is nice. So I do feel like this covers as much of a spectrum of death metal vocals and growls as I think you really need to cover. Having 4 male and 1 female vocalists really gives you lots of options to work with, and the types of growls and vocals really cover everything, really. The sustains that Mixie has, the female vocalist, they're a really nice addition. They give you these sustains with a bit of a metal flavor, a little bit of a rock flavor, so they're a little bit different than other female vocal sustains that you might find out there. Again, a few different syllables. Even though it's not really the focus of the library, I really enjoyed this edition. And finally, what can I say about the vocal effects? But I really love them. They give you a lot of material to work with, and like I mentioned, lots of good stuff you can use in sound design or just creating that really unsettling atmosphere. And speaking of creating unsettling atmospheres, while this is obviously a perfect library if you're trying to write death metal or adjacent genres, and you should be able to find lots of demos along those lines, and you'll see it clearly in the walkthroughs that Soundiron provides. I do really think this is good for horror, thriller, really any scenario where you need something to be unsettling or angry. And it can range from really in-your-face things to really subtle, just slightly off-putting things. So I look forward to using this in the horror space personally. So that's it. Please don't forget to subscribe. At the Sampleist, we try to keep the walkthroughs as unbiased as possible, and as such, we do not have any affiliate links or advertising deals. But the flip side is that we heavily rely on subscriptions and views to keep this channel alive. That's basically all that's keeping it alive. So thank you so much for your continued support. Don't hesitate to drop comments or questions below the video. And if you're looking to bolster your metal composition toolkit further, you can also check out our previous walkthrough of Soundiron's Ax Machina. The demo there also uses Voices of Rage, but it has a more metal focus. And of course, you heard a guitar wash from that library in this demo. So that's it for me on Voices of Rage, and we look forward to seeing you again at the Sampleist.